So if you're joining us on YouTube, thank you very much for joining us. We will get started now in just 1 second. Great. So you're all very welcome to our Aduco Gym live session this morning. And thank you very much those of you who are joining us live. If you are joining us live, please do pop it in the chat to let us know. And I have Jacqui here with me. Hi, Jacqui. How are you?
Good morning, Jamie. How are
Great.
you on this wonderful Saturday morning?
Yeah, fantastic. We probably we're conscious we maybe could have done the Saturday, but it was so close to New Year's Day, and it just would have been maybe, one of those things. We thought we'd let everybody warm up and hit them 9th of January to again discuss the topic that we got a lot of feedback from last time, which is all about goal setting and goal achieving. And I know this is a topic that you obviously love.
Oh, I do. I really do. I took the time to sit down and write out all my own goals, and I've smashed them so far this week, Jamie. 6 days in, and I'm feeling great from keeping myself accountable to them.
Fantastic. So a lot of people that you talk to, they had great ideas about setting their goals in December, and then they get into January, and the year takes off already, and people start to get busy. So it's really about trying to get encourage people to take some time. So maybe we talk briefly about the Aduco Gym model, because really that's the differentiating factor with Aduco Gym and other gyms. It's really about this idea of being able to understand how to really put the goals properly into your mind so that they're much more likely to become a reality. And it's really that success system that makes such a difference. And the Aduco model is an educational system. So it's really about teaching you how to use more of your mind to achieve greater levels of success. And naturally, we want to do that in the gym and then to replicate it into other areas of your life. What insights do you have in that area?
It's funny you start with that, actually, because I was thinking about that this morning. Like, if we go back to our 12-day study, which it showed in that they had the control group and the study group. And in the study group, they were the group that was being trained by Dr. Tony Quinn on the Aduco seminar. So they were being trained in the whole area of the mind. And I suppose the key thing for people to understand is that everything starts in your mind. So you have to have a clear goal of what you're trying to achieve. So, as you know, Jamie, people come into us in the gym all the time, and, we'll say, well, what's your goal? And they'll say to lose weight and tone up. But that's not specific enough. So what people need to do is to take time out to chunk their goals down. So, well, what are the measurements that you're looking to achieve? Do you want to lose 2 inches, 3 inches? Do you want to lose a stone? Do you want to lose 5 pounds? So the more clarity you have on the goal, the research study showed that when people really focused, as in lose 7.5 pounds of fat, gain 3 pounds of muscle, and imprinted that into their mind. That's what propelled them to lift the heavier weights, to take the actions required to achieve those amazing results. But the study group, or sorry, the control group didn't have as much focus on the whole area of the mind and imprinting the outcome. So the goal setting, Jamie, it is really important, isn't it?
Yeah, it is absolutely. And I think it's so important to maybe have a few goals that mean a lot to you rather than try and have endless numbers of goals where your mind can't almost keep a track of them. And again, just mentioning the study, what they found that when the person had that very clear vision of the type of goal that they were going to achieve, it caused them almost to train with more energy and more intensity. It's like it sort of harnessed that power that everybody has inside themselves. And you find maybe that when you're in certain situations, it seems to activate in you. It's really this is more about how to activate that potential and power in you on a consistent basis. And that's one of the things that I think was most apparent about that original study was when you looked at the data, the people who got these incredible results where they gained muscle and lost fat, as opposed to the control group, which just lost the body fat. And they actually lost muscle because they didn't train with the same level of intensity. And when you looked at the data, it really was about the weight that they were lifting. The
Yeah.
study group really went in and just literally just gave it everything. It was an all-out effort. And I think people probably are familiar, maybe in some areas of their life, they've had that experience where they've been able to put all of their attention into something because it kind of grabbed their interest. And that's really what we're talking about today.
Yes, absolutely. Sorry, my ear, you can still hear me, Jamie, can you?
Yeah,
I'm
yeah,
hoping these are charged up.
yeah,
But yeah, it's something like what you just said there, when you go into the gym and when they were very clear on those goals, that caused them to lift even heavier weights. So if we even take, like, if you want to achieve anything in your life, it's like, building a muscle in the gym. If you just go in and you train and just do 1 or 2 training sessions within the week, well, then you're not really going to build muscle or get that result. But if you go every day or 5 days a week for a whole month, you're going to start to see a result with that. So it's like the action is so important to follow up the goal that you're trying to achieve. So, if you take anything from today, I would say, sit down with a pen and paper, write out the goals that you want in maybe 3 areas of your life: health and fitness. The next one could be your career. The other one could be relationships. And just, what do you want to achieve for yourself in 2021? Write it down, because the writing is imprinting. So if you remember when we were in school, what we used to do to learn something is we would write it and keep writing it. So the repetition was imprinting it. And then you have to hold yourself accountable to the daily actions that you're taking to achieve those goals. So when you come into us at an Aduco Gym, you have a trainer who works with you on your goal setting, and then they hold you accountable by taking your measurements, by checking your body fat loss, your weight loss, your muscle gain, and you can measure that then over a period of a few weeks or a few months to see, are you achieving the target that you actually set out to achieve? Because the accountability is important. So goals without action, and you need to take the action as well. And it is a work and it is a discipline, but if you put the work in, you're going to get incredible results. So that's what the 12-day study at Aduco Gym showed. The university validated study was incredible for showing, Aduco Gym is all about body, mind, your life, and the community. So by taking care of your physical health and well-being, you're going to impact absolutely every area of your life, not just your shape. And Jamie, are you still with me?
I am. There, pop back
Because
in.
I suppose, right now, Jamie, we're in another lockdown, and we're probably facing possibly 2 months or more of this. And, and I know people can get disillusioned and, unmotivated. And this is the time where, you've started the online training and you have that going. So, like, people need to take action and kind of say to themselves, rather than just, for me personally, if I talk about myself this week, I made sure that I got up at 6:30 every morning this week and did the goals, as in my walk, my training, my meditation. And it set me up for the day. It set my energy up. It keeps your mind right. So, people need to, take action on that. So doing something like the online training that you're doing, because you've got a lot of people doing that, don't you? That's
Yeah,
going
we were
very well.
over yeah, we were oversubscribed because obviously we're working with people one on one for the initial consultation and then for every subsequent checkup. And you're in contact with people 3 or 4 times a week. It's a very hands-on program, so we only can take a certain number of people. So we were actually oversubscribed this week, and next week is almost full. So it's really exciting.
Fantastic.
Yeah, and
Fantastic.
yeah, and I think actually one of the things that just when you were talking there that I think is really important for people is that it's exactly what you're saying. It's when you sit down, you have to set a goal, and then you have to make it as clear as possible. So writing it out is so vital. In fact, in research, when people wrote out their goals, they were much more likely to achieve success and a really high level of success. But the other part of it then is watching what happens. So I think one of the things that you might notice with people is that they start out with a goal, and if it's not happening almost exactly as they imagined it would happen, they become very disillusioned very quickly. So what
Yes.
would you say to people when they've set a goal and they're looking at maybe a day-to-day basis or on a weekly basis and maybe it's not happening? Does that mean it's not going to happen, or what does that mean? What should you do?
Well, I think in that is that, if you're taking the actions, like you have to be honest with yourself. And if
Yeah.
you know that you're taking those actions that you need to take, so that could be if your goal is to get into really awesome shape, right? To tone up your body, strip the body fat, you've taken your measurements, and on a weekly basis, you're weighing yourself, you're measuring yourself, so on and so forth. And if you're not seeing the results reflected for your efforts, what you have to look at is the actions you're taking. And are you doing those actions? So, if you know that you're training every day, if you're doing your weight training or your online training, or you're following your good nutrition plan, you're taking your food supplements, and you're doing all of that, but it's not reflecting, you do have to go and reassess and just, see where you can tweak certain things. But the key thing is not to get disillusioned, because I always say to my clients, this is a lifestyle approach. It's not a quick fix to get the result. It's your whole life is about it. And especially, like, we're in our 40s now, Jamie, and I would notice that now as I've gotten older, we just need to be a bit more disciplined with all of that. So and another thing we'd often see at the gym is that the weight loss doesn't always reflect the result a person is getting.
That's
So
true.
you could lose 4 pounds of fat, but gain 4 pounds of muscle. There's no difference on the scales, but your clothes would be showing you a difference.
Yeah.
So it's I don't what would you? It's a good point actually, Jamie, because if people don't see it mentally, it can really cause disillusion in them.
Yeah.
Well,
So I would notice with some people, they're so determined to hit their end outcome, they just keep their mind focused on the outcome. But it doesn't mean that they ignore the action steps that they're taking. Now, what I absolutely love doing, and I think this makes such a difference, and from managing teams and from being in business a long time as well, it's a very similar approach to getting into shape. So you start with the outcome, and then you put together a plan as to how you think you can achieve that outcome. And then you start taking those steps. Now, the more precisely you can take those steps and the more you can stick to your plan, the more at the end of the week, if you haven't quite hit the goal, or maybe on a day-to-day basis, you're looking at the feedback. Now, it's really important to follow the feedback and not to put a huge amount of emotional attachment to the feedback. So what I mean by that is, if it's not happening exactly as you envisaged, you don't give yourself a hard time, you don't get emotionally depressed about it, you don't get all heavy about it. What you actually then start to look at is, okay, what your mind will tend to do if you're very focused on the outcome, is that you'll start to see other ways or areas that you need to tweak. And I think that's really important. If you're in business or you're working for yourself, you're probably very familiar with this, how you really have to keep an eye. Your end outcome is in your mind, and then you're watching what's happening. And then based on what's happening, you're starting to tweak your approach, keeping the end outcome in mind. I hope that makes sense, but that is exactly what you have to do. Our job is to make sure that people aren't getting very unhappy with themselves when they don't immediately maybe see the end result. You're just tweaking the approach. And I think everybody is so different that sometimes you just have to pinpoint almost like where the roadblock is in your approach. It's like life is just, you get presented with a series of roadblocks and you just have to skirt around them and then just keep going rather than get caught up in every time that something doesn't go exactly as you envisaged. You keep the end outcome in mind. And well, maybe we could talk about how your mind is, it's almost like a heat-seeking missile, because I think that's
Yeah.
very interesting. Um, I'm just trying to think of the guy who wrote the book. It was a long time ago, but where he talks about cybernetics and
Mm.
how your mind works like a heat-seeking missile. So how that technology was developed in was it World War II, and before that you had to get very precise. And if you've seen that film with Tom Hanks, he's very precise. It's you calculate, how fast the ship was moving. The submarine would have to then fire the missile, and it was a very sort of hit and hope approach, and it takes so many variables. And then they developed the technology for heat-seeking missiles, where the missile locks in on the target and keep sending a signal out to the target. And then based on where the target moves, the missile adjusts its approach. And
Yeah.
isn't it really like that though? With
That it's a great point, Jamie. Like, and just sums up what you were just saying. That it's all in the mind, and it starts in the mind, and you have to be very clear on the outcome, and then you have to be flexible. You have to, because
yeah,
obstacles. One certainty about life is that the obstacles will come, but it's how you mentally are going to be able to deal with it. So one approach that the Aduco model would that we would be doing on a daily basis is to do a bit of meditation or relaxation, and that's why we'd often encourage our clients to go out and take a walk. But when you go for a walk, you see these headphones, get rid of them, get rid of the noise, get rid of the distractions, and actually really center yourself up, because the process of actually meditating, which is joining your center with whatever it is around you. So I personally always go on about taking the walk and looking at nature, looking at the trees, so you're bringing your visual into it, the sounds of the birds, what you feel, the cold of illness in the air. The more you kind of snap yourself out of, because you kind of nearly mentally have to discipline yourself to take a break from obsessing about that goal too, and just
yeah,
become more present. And that's what Aduco Gym is. It's about aligning up with the center of energy that's within us, and that's why our logo goes like this. It's about drawing that life force, that power that's innate in all of us, out from within. And there's actions that you take then to draw out that energy. So one is doing the walk, but the other thing is doing the relaxation. And like every morning this week, Jamie, I've got up and I've done my 35-minute relaxation. So that is a great discipline for your mind and your thoughts, because, any goal that you
yeah,
want, with those obstacles coming, you have to be able to mentally just not get into the negative of it, just stay
yeah.
locked on the end outcome. So relaxation is a great tool to help strengthen and discipline your mind. And I just like we have, I don't know if it's available on the Aduco Gym website, but the relaxation with a purpose that Dr. Tony Quinn brought out about 20 years ago. Do we have that available on our Aduco Gym health store
We will at the
online?
moment. At the moment it's available to buy as a CD, but we're obviously aware that not many people use CDs anymore or have a CD player. So I think you can buy it on the Aduco Health website. It's available as a download, and it will be available on the Aduco Gym site as a download as well. But yeah, absolutely, it's a brilliant relaxation. Maybe explain more about it.
Yeah, because when with that relaxation CD, Tony Quinn brought it out maybe 20, 30 years ago, but it's called Relaxation with a Purpose. So there's a purpose to doing the relaxation, because I know I often chat to people and they say to me, oh, I can't sit still. I couldn't be bothered with doing something like that. And, and I always say that you're the very person that needs to take time out to do this. But what I know is that, like, I've done it every day this week. Every morning I've taken the 30 minutes to do the relaxation. And honestly, I can't tell you enough how it has impacted me on an energetic and a mental clarity point of view. So when you come to the gym, you eat a clean diet that detoxes you physically. When you do the relaxation, that's mentally detoxing you. So therefore, it's going to help support you in all those New Year's resolutions that you want for yourself. So they're the action. So it's relaxation with a purpose, and you can get it on the Aduco Health at www.educohealth.com website. Just put in the search bar relaxation CD and you can download it, and make yourself accountable. Like, I'm doing a challenge to myself that for the next 31 days of December I'm going to do it. Every single morning I'm going to do it. And when you put that effort in, you reap the rewards, because it's giving you a mental clear out.
100%. What I've noticed, and this is actually interesting, is going back to that book. Actually, it was Maxwell Maltz, and he wrote a book called Psycho-Cybernetics. And what's very interesting is he was a plastic surgeon, and he noticed what he noticed about people was they'd come in looking for maybe a bit of work to be done because it would help to improve their self-esteem. And he noticed that even when he made the changes and they'd be significant to the person, they almost couldn't see themselves as this new person. All they could still see was the old person, and or the old version of themselves before the surgery. And he started to think or learn more about the unconscious mind and how people saw themselves. And then he talked about this idea of being able to focus on the outcome. And there's so many people through history that have similar philosophies or ideas about your mind and how it affects your outcome. Simple ones like Emile Coué, who was that famous, he was a pharmacist, and then he started to become a healer. But he found, he's I suppose, credited with coming up with this idea of the placebo effect, and also using those sort of, what do they call, the self-actualizations when you repeat on a daily basis. It's Saturday morning.
Affirmations.
Affirmations,
Jamie.
It's just way too early in the morning on a Saturday. But two small children, maybe I was just up too early. So but having the affirmations, so where you repeat over and over to yourself, so that your unconscious, subconscious picks up the message and then starts to become a reality. So there's lots of messages when you read throughout history in different people. And I suppose it's something that Dr. Tony Quinn has really refined and has come up with a model, which is why it's Aduco. It's an educational system. Is there any other areas that we think that would really make a difference? We want to obviously keep these Saturday morning lives nice and short so that people will watch them. Any other advice that you think that would really benefit people?
Well, just before Christmas, we spoke about the mental diet, and I think that's really important, because I even just saw a post there on Instagram before I came on saying, maybe for the next 24 hours, stop your negative mental talk and see how your life changes from that. So I suppose it goes back to my favorite guy, Buddha, who says, you and your world are composed of your thoughts. The wise person takes control of your thoughts, and everything is in the area of the mind. So, you really do need to watch your thoughts, and, like you'd watch the foods that you're putting into your body to get that result that you're looking for, to get into great shape. If you mentally want to have a better life for yourself, or not even, if you want a better life, you have to watch those thoughts. So, and Dr. Tony Quinn, his whole area of research is around the area of the mind and human potential. And, I suppose with Aduco Gym, we follow his model, because when people come into us, they train. That's the start of increasing your energy and your life force and the super you. So by training and eating a better diet, but the mind then is the crucial factor. It's actually more important than probably the training and the diet, Jamie, isn't it? So
it's the thing that made the difference in the research. So, and it's definitely the thing that we would notice. You'll know by talking to some people straight away, they're going to get results. You just know by them. You can, after doing this for 15 years, it's very easy to identify straight away who's going to get results. Now, that doesn't mean that they're only the ones that get results, but they're certainly very easy to work with. And then other people, You're looking for people who are the most coachable, the most open-minded, are going to follow the plan because it is a model. So if they follow the
Yes.
steps in the model, they'll get results. Some people seem to be very resistant to following steps. But at the end of the day, once they understand the process and then once they see results, you can get the most skeptical person and they see suddenly a huge result in 5 days and then they become very coachable. So we like those type of people. So if you're going to work with us, please be coachable.
But Jamie, do you know that goes back to, what we've learned about the area of the mind from Dr. Tony Quinn is that, when people come into us, the people with the made up mind, they've made a decision because they've hit rock bottom that they want to change their shape and they're looking for more energy. So they've made a decision. So they've achieved what's known as an unconscious decision response, whereas the people who come in who are like, oh, I want this result, but I don't want to do it, we call them double-minded. So there's a split in their attention. Their mind is going in two different directions. So they don't tend to get as good a result as the person who's the made-up mind, who's locked on target and going all out for it. So, what you were, saying with the unconscious attention, which is what Dr. Tony Quinn got his breakthrough and got his Master of Science degree for, one of the key factors is relaxation. So I urge everyone on this call listening, to go and download that relaxation with a purpose, because I can guarantee you that's going to stack the odds in your favor of achieving all those goals. Do you know?
Yeah, 100%. We have a number of relaxation classes that we have if you want to start straight away, and you can find them both on our YouTube channel. So for those of you that are watching on YouTube, you can find them. There's probably a more limited resource of them there, but on Facebook, on our main Aduco Gym Facebook page, we have loads of them because we did a huge number during the first lockdown, and then we did subsequently in the last lockdown we did more, and we will hope to bring more classes to you on the next one. So for just maybe to wrap it up, I'm seeing some comment in there from Noelle that she's getting very motivated. Roll on Monday. Start today, Noelle. Saturday. It's as good a day.
Noelle, I'll be holding you accountable.
Yeah. So if we were to give a step-by-step process, and I know before we do that, we have sent out a workbook to everybody who's on our email list, and it's really worth going through that. And it talks about maybe giving a little bit of attention to each area of your life. Now, when you're doing that, it's flexibility that's important. So don't get so very inflexible mentally that you're dividing your life into different sections. It's not about that. Your life is all one, so it's making it all together harmoniously. So it all requires the same level of attention. So that's worth going, and I think you'll find it on our Facebook page, and we will provide a link to that if you'd like to download it. So if we were giving people a step-by-step process, what would you think? What would be the approach that you recommend? Yeah.
Number one, spend time this weekend taking maybe half an hour, write your goals down. What do you want to happen for you in 2021 for the year? What do you want to happen in the next month in January? Okay, shape-wise, be specific. What weight do you want to be? What size clothes do you want to wear? Pull out pictures, get little things that are going to help support you in that goal visually. But you have to write your goals down. Then you need to write out your actions of how you're going to achieve those goals. What are you going to do on a daily basis to help you achieve those goals? The other bit of advice, actually, Jamie, I would recommend is buddy up with somebody. So contact your friend. Noelle said a comment there, but I'm going to be on to Noelle next week to say, well, what's your weight? Tell me on Friday what your weight is. What's your waist measurement? So when you buddy up with somebody, you'll tend to maybe, if you decide to go for a walk every day with somebody, it's holding you more accountable. So
2 meters apart.
But exactly, exactly. I would just think, write it down. Take what are your actions going to be? Monitor your self-talk. That is so important. Monitor your self-talk. When you find yourself actually, saying negative things to yourself, just stop it. Just stop it and just say the good things to you. Like you mentioned affirmations, and Amelia Cooley, I think, he spoke and he did a whole lot of research in that area. So they would be the top 3 or 4 things there, Jamie. Do you want to add anything to that?
Yeah, so often when you're talking to people, they'll say, they're worried about putting their goals down on paper in case their goals change. And sometimes I can sound like a bit of a cop out, but it's quite familiar. So I think that you start with what you'd like to, that you really want to achieve. Try and get it to mean as much as possible to you. So if the goal is just a bit meh, then don't bother with it. Try and pick the ones that would really make a difference. And actually, when you've done the Aduco seminar, and when you're on the Aduco seminar, Tony talks about a part of the research which I think was fascinating that he did with the university. And what they discovered was whether a person set a huge goal or a person almost limited themselves and set a small goal because they were worried they wouldn't achieve it, both were equally successful at hitting those goals. So
Yeah.
what he said then from looking at that was, well, you really should just set a big goal. And the
Mm.
more it engages your mind, the more it harnesses your passion and your energy, the more likely it is that you're going to achieve it. So don't pick boring goals. That's really important. Anything that's going to cause your mind to doze off and go to
Well,
sleep, not worth it. So pick
Jay,
exciting goals.
Jamie, that is a seriously good point. I am getting so excited actually here, thinking about it, because it's the energy reaction you want to provoke. So that big goal provokes that energy reaction, which
Yeah,
will
it's when you're
propel you
writing it out
forward.
and you think, "Oh my God, I can't wait to achieve this." And you start to see yourself having achieved it and imagining what that would be like, and you get really, really excited. And then the more it's like you said earlier, when you're in school and you're learning your two times tables or you're learning your alphabet, it's repetition, repetition. So the more you revisit that goal, the more likely it is to end up that you'll learn the outcome, and which is really what it's all about. And then it's much more likely that it's going to happen. So the next stage then that we talked about is making sure that you set a list of actions and then really hold yourself accountable, stick to those actions, because then you'll only know whether they're working or not. Because you don't want to get to the end of the week and say, oh, if I'd just been a little bit more precise, and then you think it was that. But if you're precise and you've taken the actions that you thought would end up with the outcome, then you can tweak those actions. Well, what if I did this? What if I do that? And then see what happens. And don't get all caught up emotionally in if the outcome hasn't happened exactly as you thought it would, because that flexibility of mind is vital. It's so important. What else can we say that would really make the difference? So you set your outcome, you set your access. It's a little bit like in business, they talk about KPIs, key performance indicators. You can set
Mhm.
yourself a list of key performance indicators on a daily basis, and you track and see are you hitting those key performance indicators on a daily basis. So it's like the ones that you were talking about, Jacqui, whether you're doing you're going for your walk, or you're
Mhm.
doing your relaxation, or you're following your diet, or you're doing your training 3 times a week, and are you ticking the boxes? Can you look back at the week and say, yep, I did the three sessions that I needed to do. I followed my diet. That was good. I did my relaxation. Oh, I only went for a walk twice this week. So that's one that you didn't tick. And then next week you try and see, can you improve upon it? And then I think very quickly you get to your goal. Um,
Yes.
Anything else that we're missing?
No, as you said there, fail to plan, plan to fail. So you
Plan to
you
fail.
have to, yeah, you have to take this time out and almost like a subject, study it. Focus
Yeah.
on it, grow it, and as Jamie said, make the goal bigger. I know after listening to him saying that, there, I actually am going to sit down and make bigger goals for myself after that. Because it does ignite you. It fill your whole mind up with it and the possibilities of what can happen for you.
Yeah, and you really enjoy the process. Often people are afraid of the process and they just want the outcome. But actually, what you'll find is, I don't know, I noticed this when I was in school or taking a particular subject, and I think, oh no, I don't really enjoy that subject. And then when you're forced to study for it because you've got an exam, and then you suddenly discover, actually, this is really interesting. So the more you put your attention into it, and the more you really explore a certain area, the more you find out that you're fascinated by it, and the more that happens, then the more attention you give it, and then the better you do at it. So I think that's really, really important. Um, and yeah,
And
stay
Jamie,
flexible
that's
mentally. Yeah,
that's a good. Can I just say that's a good point where you were saying, if there's something that you don't want to do and you really just don't like it, or it's like studying a subject or having a job to do. Well, if you actually just say to yourself, okay, I'm going to use this as a test for myself to discipline my thoughts again.
mm,
So it's all about actually just focus on the one move in front of you. The more you can kind of center yourself to that task and just say, no, I'm going to do it, and do it step by step. So you know the way they all, there is that saying that if there's a big goal that you want to achieve in life, just take the next step. Just take the first step that you see to take, then the next one, then the next one. So doing tasks that you don't like, almost approach it like that, a mind game. Well, I'm going to discipline myself now, not let my thoughts tell me I can't do it, I don't want to do it, I'm not interested. And that's just do what's in front of you. Take the steps.
Yeah. And what you'll notice is that somebody who maybe is finding it easy to stick to a diet or a program, they don't find it disciplined. It's almost like the outcome is so exciting. They keep it fun. They keep it light. That is so important. Keep things fun. Keep things light. It's much easier for your mind. And so the person who's doing it and they're really excited about the outcome, to them, it's no bother to follow a program or diet. The person looking on, they think, wow, that requires a lot of discipline. Because you can talk about, often when you mention discipline, people think, oh my God, I'm not the disciplined person. I've seen the most ill-disciplined person suddenly become so disciplined because they're so excited about their goal or the outcome that they know that they're going to achieve. They've kind of, they've learned it, imprinted, they think this is going to happen. And they get so excited that it's not discipline. Going for the walk or doing the exercise, it's not a chore. It just becomes so much fun, and there's a lot of energy that comes with it, which obviously makes it much easier.
Well, the made-up mind, doesn't it activate that energy and power within? As Dr. Tony Quinn has taught us. So the clearer you are, the more excited you are, and the more you've just complete trust that that's going to happen for you. That draws that energy and power that you have within you out, and that's transformational, not just to you, but actually even to people around you. So
it's like absolutely. It's like watching somebody come into the gym and they're so excited about the outcome, and they jump in under the machine and they're doing squats and they're lifting a huge amount of weight. And it's almost like that energy's there, activated, and the next person comes in and they're dragging their feet and they're just not that kind of motivated, and they get in under it. No, it's such a pain, it's such a chore, it's so difficult. So that's all in your mind. So you can either decide now that this is what you want to do, and you'll find it'll suddenly happen for you. And anyway, we're there to support you. If you're finding it that you need somebody who can guide you through this process, we're very experienced with it. So, and we love helping people. There's no feeling like making a difference to someone else. And that's for real. So the more that we can help you, please let us know. We're there. And there's so much resources on our different social media channels as well. So follow us and get involved, get excited, get energized. Let's do it.
Yay!
Okay, Debbie, anything else? Have we left anything out?
No,
I think
we've covered a lot there. Just take action, guys. It's all about the action.
Take action and enjoy it. Have fun. Keep it fun. That's so important. Keep it fun.
Yes.
Great. So that's it for today. We will cover another topic next week. We'll also give people a little bit more warning. This morning we were a few minutes late. The traffic was heavy. We had to get past the throngs of people outside to get to do the talk. So obviously that's totally untrue. And but we are looking forward to next week. So anyway, if there's an area or a topic that you'd like help with, please let us know. And trying to cover all these, we've got 4 or 5 different channels that we're broadcasting to. So I'm trying to keep up with comments on each one. But if there's anything when you're watching this video later, let us know that you're watching it later. And if there's anything that you think that we can help you with, we would love to help. And we'll bring somebody on who can help if we can't. But I reckon we can. Okay.
Of course we can.
Great.
We already have helped so many people, Jamie. So
that's it. Great. Have a great weekend, everybody. Thanks for joining us. Really appreciate it. And thanks, Jacqui.
Thanks. Bye.
Have a good weekend. Bye. Set those goals.